investments discussed may be suitable for only some investors.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Talk 1470, WWNN, Pompano Beach, Boca Raton, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
AM 1470, WNN, with more of what you need to know. Get all the latest on health with caller health questions and comments, breaking health news, the health alternative, outrage, and mystery of the week. Dr. Bob Martin Show, Sundays at 10 a.m.
Dr. Michael Blum of the Center for the Dental Arts has a special offer for Steve Kane listeners. Right now, Dr. Blum is offering a free consult and panoramic x-ray. The x-ray and consult normally cost $225, but the first 25 Steve Kane listeners who call and make an appointment will get it for free. Call Dr. Blum, 954-463-4999 and online at blumdentist.com.
Hi, it's Jay Foster. Join us 7 days a week from 2 to 3 p.m. for Health Connection Radio. We'll talk about natural cholesterol control, toxic metal syndrome, how to reverse bone loss, and the latest scientific research on vitamins and minerals. We'll have fascinating guests, and we'll take lots of your calls, too. So join us 7 days a week from 2 to 3 p.m. for Health Connection Radio right here on WNN.
Everyone deserves access to eye care. Unfortunately, some cannot afford comprehensive eye exams that detect and prevent eye disease that can lead to vision loss. The Florida Optometry Eye Health Fund is here to help. The fund promotes access to comprehensive eye care to help the less fortunate reach their full potential. If you know a child in need, urge them to contact Miami Lighthouse. Help them see a clearer future.
I'm in almost every school busing classroom. I go to school with your children. We say the Pledge of Allegiance together. You see me around the neighborhood and you tell me that I'm a pretty good kid. Well, I'm one out of every 5 children in America, and I'm struggling with hunger. This problem is closer than you think. My teacher tells me we can grow up to be whatever we want. I want to grow up to be someone who doesn't go to bed hungry. There's enough food in this country to feed everybody. Please visit feedingamerica.org today and find your local food bank for ways to help. Every dollar you donate helps provide 8 meals for kids like me, quietly struggling with hunger. Together, we are Feeding America, brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
This is Talk 1470. Talk 1470. WNN.
The opinions expressed in the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of the station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show, the place to fine-tune your swing, dress for the course, club, or cruise, and get tips on the best places to play and stay at the right price. Vacation or staycation, host Dan Shub, along with his expert co-hosts and guests, will tell you where to go. To play golf and vacation, that is. Now, here's Dan.
Welcome to the Golf and Travel Show. I'm your host, Dan Schub, and tonight, like we usually do at this time, we're going to talk some golf, we're going to talk some travel, and we've got an interesting show in store for you tonight. We're going to be talking about some charity events, and we got some guests, and I've got some deals for you all on travel, and some stories about interesting things in the travel world as well that I'd like to share with you too. And in just a couple of minutes, we're going to have our guest on, and that would be Perry Ecton, and he is the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity of Broward County, just a stone's throw to the south of us here in Boca Raton, and they're doing some wonderful things, and I have to believe probably leading the nation with some of the things that they're doing as far as the homes that they're building for people who need homes. And they've also got a charity event going on in the very near future to raise some funds for those efforts. And I want everybody to know about it and go out there, because there's nothing better than when you play golf and you help a great cause as well. And we want you all to know about it and all to support that. So we'll be talking to him in just a couple of minutes. But first, what I want to do is just talk about some of the things that I got on tap and that I wanted to share with you. And we've been speaking about an event, a charity golf event that I will be taking place in. And that would be this Sunday, September 20th. And sorry about those folks who listen to our reruns later in the week, because it'll be too late. But it is a great cause that you should know about anyway. It's to benefit Wheels for Kids, and wheelsforkids.org is where you can learn more about it. Wheels for Kids is a charity that puts together custom-made wheelchairs for children in need, so it's a great cause. And last I heard, while there is a huge number of people playing in the event, it is not sold out. So there are still some spots. And what you could do is call 561-752-0799 or go to wheelsforkids.org, and you can find the phone number there. At this point, you probably need to give them a call. So that's the 5th Annual Charity Golf Tournament, Sunday the 20th. It's an 8 a.m. tee-off, a 7:30 ball drop. It's hosted by Brogues Down Under, which is a great little pub in Lake Worth, where I was a celebrity bartender, also to raise money for this same charity last week, and had a great time there. And my teammates at this event are some great friends of mine. My good friend James Stammer, who is also a golf talk show host and golf writer that I've known for an eternity, and he's going to be my teammate, as well as Kyle Mueller, a good friend of mine too, and another good friend, Billy Dean, who happens to be the co-host of the Golf Clinic on WOKC in Okeechobee, and he co-hosted it with me. So we do that Wednesday mornings at 7:50 a.m., and I don't get a chance to play with Billy all that often. If we're lucky, maybe once a year, so I look forward for those opportunities when usually it's a charity event like this, and, you know, there's, like I say, nothing better than being with good friends and having a good time playing some golf and supporting a charity in need like Wheels for Kids. So, again, if you could make it, maybe you could actually just show up. I should give you the location. That would be at the Atlantis Country Club, and that's at 190 Atlantis Boulevard in Atlantis, Florida. Obviously, you can Google the Atlantis Country Club, and I am pretty sure that if you show up there, they will find room for you. I believe it was $110 to play, but there's going to be great things going on. There are all sorts of opportunities to win things and just have a heck of a lot of fun. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope to see you all there as well. And just to keep this theme a little bit in the beginning of the show, I like to talk about events that are nearby as well as cool things to do that are on the road, because I'm aware that many of our listeners live locally, but many don't. So people like to come down to Florida and take part in these events. And, of course, the locals, sometimes either you're bored at home or you want a little staycation, so you might go a little bit further and stay at a hotel, but want to have some cool events that maybe draw you on a particular weekend or weekday. And I heard about this event, and I just thought it was really cool. It's called the Delray Bash. I hadn't heard about it before, but it seems that it's been going on for quite some time. It benefits the American Lung Association, and this is the 5th anniversary, actually. It's a culinary extravaganza, and it is taking place on October 3rd from 7 to 9:30 p.m. at the Old School Square Park, which is right in that downtown area off of Atlantic, and not too far from the Atlantic, actually. So it's a great place to hang out. You get that nice breeze in the evening, and you'll get an opportunity to sample all sorts of food and drink from local area restaurants and bars. They're going to have a wine garden, a beer pavilion with many varieties to choose from. There are several local beer companies in the Delray area, so I'm sure that you'll get a chance to have some great beer, other spirits as well, live music, and all of this is in that old School Square Park, which is just a really nice area of downtown Delray Beach. So I highly recommend you check it out. And if you would like to do that, what you can do is go to their website again, thedelraybash.com. Tickets are $50 if you do it early, and if you wait and go to the gate, it's $60. But that's an all-inclusive, unlimited sampling of food, drink, and the entertainment. So I know a lot of my listeners can certainly eat and drink much more than $50 or $60 worth. So you're going to get a great deal. Excuse me. And the bars, the restaurants down in that area, there are so many of them, you can't possibly get to all of them. So this way you can kind of target which ones you've tasted and which ones you want to go back to, and all of that for a great cause, the American Lung Association. So I recommend it. And to find out a little bit more about the American Lung Association, you can go to lung.org and see the things that they're doing to fight for healthy lungs and healthy air and saving people's lives every day. So I highly recommend that. I do have a bunch of deals for you, and I also wanted to talk a little bit about some just travel happenings and goings-on as well. And there's just so many things going on around here. And why don't I keep it local for the time being? We'll talk about some more things that are happening in Florida. Again, many of you who are listening, we're getting pretty close to our peak season, where the weather perhaps up north is going to eventually start to get cold, and people are going to start thinking of coming down to Florida and escaping that. And I saw a story in the Palm Beach Post, actually today, written by a friend of mine, Mary Thurwacker, and she's just a great writer, and she discovers excellent stories to write about, and I have to commend her on it. The title of this story that ran earlier this week in the Palm Beach Post was Bottoms Up, South Florida Resorts Restaurants Salute Bourbon Month. So talk about a rough gig, having to go around to different restaurants and check out the drinks that they got going on. And, I got to tip my hat to her. So, but these were some cool places throughout the South Florida area, East Coast, West Coast, that she was talking about in this story. So if you're a lover of bourbon, and to tell you the truth, I am not a bourbon drinker. And I know people who've gone to Kentucky on that the bourbon trail and sampled all the bourbon at the different distilleries, and they love it. I can't say I am, but I have been to some very cool restaurants that have offered up specialty drinks that were made with bourbon. And I'm no expert, but I got to tell you, this was really tasty stuff. So, you don't need to be pounding it down straight. There's a lot of very, very cool things that you could do with bourbon. And some of the places that are taking place that you might want to look into, for instance, there's the Tavern and Whiskey Bar, which is overlooking the golf course at Longboat, the resort at Longboat Key Club. You can find out more information at longboatkeyclub.com. And I have to say, I did stay there many years ago, and it was a beautiful place to stay. Longboat Key is just lovely over on the southwest coast of Florida. And you can go there, and they have more than 100 hand-selected whiskeys from around the world. In honor of Bourbon Month, they're also going to have a special drink, as I had mentioned, that's always cool, a whiskey smash, and it's made with the Eagle Rare Bourbon, aged no less than 10 years. Squeezed sweet lemon and muddled mint served on the rocks in an old-fashioned glass. So that sounds pretty tasty to me. Also on the west coast, southwest coast of Florida, and the St. Petersburg Beach area, there is a brand new hotel called the Hotel Zamora. That's Z-A-M-O-R-A, and you can find them at thehotelzamora.com. And they also are celebrating Bourbon Month, and they've got some specials going on too. And they also have some sale prices as well, up to $2 off on a variety of bourbons this entire month. So that's pretty cool. In Clearwater, the Beachfront Sand Pearl Resort, sandpearl.com. They're also celebrating Bourbon Month, and they've got some specials going on there as well. If you'd like to stay on the east coast of Florida, in south of 5th, which is Miami Beach, the Red the Steakhouse, and that's redthesteakhouse.com. They serve more than 40 aged bourbons and whiskeys, and they do have specials going on as well. Also in Miami Beach, Sense Beach House Local House, sensebeachhouse.com. They're celebrating the event as well, and they've got some specials going on. And also in Miami Beach, Wonder Bar, in the Hotel Circa 39, so that's circa39.com. They've got specials going on. And last but not least, the Jupiter Beach Resort and Spa, which I've been to many times. I've stayed there as well. Very, very nice, jupiterbeachresort.com. They've got some specials going on, too. So if you're a bourbon drinker or if you're not, give it a try. You might like it. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first break, and then we will be back in just a couple of minutes with our guest, Perry Ecton, the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity of Broward. You won't want to miss it, so stay tuned for more of the Golf and Travel Show. And we are back, and it's time for a brief message from our sponsor, Labor Finders. And if your business needs industrial workers or if you're looking for work, you gotta call Labor Finders. By the way, Labor Finders is a 6-time winner of the Best of Staffing Award, so you're guaranteed great service. Labor Finders places temporary or temporary to hire for opportunities for skilled, semi-skilled, or general labor positions such as plumbers, electricians, concrete workers, forklift operators, office clerical, and much, much more. Labor Finders has almost 200 offices nationwide. Near where I'm sitting here in Boca Raton, they have offices in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, and Jupiter. If you need legal, insured, hard workers, or if you want to work hard, call Labor Finders toll-free at 800-864-7749. That's 800-864-7749, or just visit laborfinders.com. And we are back. And it's always great, as I mentioned earlier, to have an opportunity to play some golf, play in a tournament, raise some money for a really good cause. And I had seen that there was an event going on to benefit what I believe to be is a really good cause, a cause that helps people who need homes. And not only do they make sure that they get it, they build them with their own two hands, and some wonderful volunteers that help out. And I just wanted to help out with that. And I've also read some other things about the volume of homes that they're building these days in Broward County, and that would be the Habitat for Humanity folks. And to find out a little bit more about the event and some of the things that are going on and the help that they're giving some really deserving people, I figured we'd go right to the top and talk to the Executive Director for Habitat for Humanity of Broward, Perry Ecton. Perry, are you with us?
I am with you, sir. Thank you for having us here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And like I say, it just, for a golfer like me and for some of our listeners to have an opportunity to play golf and help out with folks like you who are really doing the heavy lifting by building these houses and orchestrating these fundraising events and having partners that you get to partner with that help you out. It's just a wonderful thing. So before we talk about the golf tournament, I know that I read someplace that you guys have purchased a relatively large piece of land, I believe, and are just doing a lot of building over the next few years in an area. And that it sounded strange to me, because what I've always heard about Habitat is typically you find a parcel here or there and you build a house and you kind of move along. But this sounds like a huge undertaking, and I was impressed, but I want to learn more about it. So why don't you explain to me and all the listeners really what's going on in Broward right now with Habitat?
Sure. Broward and Habitat is a 32-year-old affiliate who's put 369 families in homes as of today. The project you're talking about, we've built a couple small sub-developments, an 18-unit, and our largest one today was a 30-unit. This one's a 78-unit single-family development in Pompano Beach near Ely High School off of Northwest 15th Avenue and 6th Street. It's our largest development to date, and over the next 5 years, we'll put 78 hard-working, deserving families into home ownership. We are proud of that project. We have bought it. We are trying to raise money now to put in the infrastructure, which we're trying to put that in the first quarter of next year. And by the fourth quarter of next year, start to build single-family homes there. And so we can use the community support, and we'd love to talk to folks about that venture.
Perry, could you do me a favor? I don't know if you're on a mobile phone or if you have a radio in the background, but you're kind of, it's not that good. So if you have a radio on, turn it down, and if you're in a bad spot with your mobile phone, see if you could move so that you don't break up a little bit here.
Sure. I am on a mobile phone. It is Friday night in South Florida, and it is not raining, so I am outside trying to enjoy it.
Okay.
Is this better? A
little bit better, yes. I don't want anybody to miss any of the words in the sentences that you're saying. So it seems to me that the size of these projects that you're undertaking and have been undertaking obviously require some massive fundraising, building supplies. I mean, how is it that you guys are managing to fund all of this stuff? And what kind of corporate partners do you have? And is it a lot of little people? Is it big people? How are you accomplishing this?
Sure. Our partners are anywhere from an individual who wants to make a single donation to a family foundation who wants to do something larger. Sponsoring a full home for Habitat is $70,000, but it really costs us about $100,000 to build a home for a family in need here in Broward. That is not including the cost of land or my paid labor for our staff. That's just building materials and trade labor that we outsource. We use volunteers to do that. We probably use 69,000 volunteers a year to help build about 30 homes for deserving families here. So folks can get involved either by volunteering their time, making a donation to our restore on Broward Boulevard, purchasing a product from that restore, which additionally helps build homes, coming out to volunteer, making a donation to home sponsorship. So there's a multitude of ways for people to get involved. This project, we're looking for a couple major donors for the infrastructure. In a project like this, we have to put in the streets, roads, curbs, and gutters. And to us, it's about $1 million cost. We have a $200,000 lead gift, and we're looking for additional sources to fund that $800,000 difference before we build homes.
Wow. Now, as far as the folks that move into these homes, from what I understand, that I'm not quite sure exactly how you find them, so maybe you can explain that. And from what I've heard in the past, there's a certain amount of sweat equity that they also work side by side with your volunteers and your handful of professionals. And why don't you explain that process a little bit?
Sure. Each year in probably February and March, it varies. We do an open enrollment. Last year, there were 859 families that applied to be Habitat homeowners. You need to be a Broward County resident for 12 months, make in between 40 and 80% of median income, and be a family who needs simple, decent, affordable housing, meaning that your family paying 50 to 60% of your income toward rent. Our idea is to take that burden down to 30% so you can help your kids in after-school programs and help them get into college and change their lives as they move forward. So that's the criteria getting in. It's 400 hours of sweat equity working in your home, in your neighbor's home, going to classes, $1,500 down, and 30% of your income when you get into a home at principal, interest, principal, taxes, and insurance. There's no interest in a Habitat mortgage, and homes are sold at independent appraised value. So we don't devalue neighborhoods. We try and support neighborhoods and actually increase the value over time.
Interesting. And if people are interested in applying, I mean, is it difficult to manage to have a home built for you by Habitat? Is there a long waiting list? How does that work?
Well, we cannot create a waiting list. If you are approved for Habitat Family, I must match you with the location within 12 months of being approved. From then, it's probably another 12 to 18 months to finish your home. That could either be a new home or a home we bought in foreclosure that we gutted and rehab back to new standards. We put in new plumbing, new electrical, new HVAC, and make it basically a new home with old structure. So that our idea is how do we get you a fresh start today to help you and your family move forward tomorrow.
So, but my question is that, you know, based on the criteria that you have, I mean, is there just a huge demand? Are you flooded with people saying, I want to get in on this program, or is it a slower and steady kind of a demand? I mean, I'm just curious.
Yeah. Like I said, last year there were 856 people that applied. There were 356 families who got a second look. There were 90 families who got a third look, and there were 30 families who were accepted.
Wow.
Habitat in Broward cannot keep up with the demand for the services we can provide. We wish we had more resources, more donors to do more for families. Our goal is 50 homes within the next 5 years for families. But the need in Broward County is so great because, as you know, Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach are one of the least affordable places to live in the country. And so trying to create affordable housing and workforce housing for needy families is I can't meet the needs, and it hurts because I want to help as many families as I can, but I can only today help 30 families a year.
Okay, well, we'll talk a little bit about how you raise money in a minute, like this golf tournament. But what about the workers, the people that volunteer? Do they need to have skills? Do they, what's the minimum criteria for somebody who might want to come and help build a home?
Our minimum criteria to volunteer, we only ask you to bring two things when you come and volunteer. Bring patience and bring your heart. We'll teach you the rest. You don't need to be a skilled roofer, a skilled carpenter, a skilled painter. You just want to be able to give back to the community and help others. So we'll teach you a skill, and at the end of the day, we tell people there's two things you'll learn on the Habitat site. Number one, you will look at the person that you're helping differently than you have before. They might be a different race, a different culture, and you've always had a certain image. But in Habitat for 4 hours, you're just two people trying to get to know each other and build a path together. So breaking down those barriers and those stereotypes you have against one another. The second thing you have on the Habitat site is that at the end of that 4 hours, you will determine that whether you can do that trade in the future, repair a roof, drywall, paint, or something, or the check you write to a contractor you will complain less about because that task you never want to do again.
Well, I have another question for you. Our sponsor is Labor Finders, and I'm very familiar with them because I work with them as well by day. And finding good workers right now in today's economy with the unemployment rate dropping is difficult. So are you having real difficulties finding volunteers as well as perhaps some skilled professionals that you need to help them?
Volunteers, no. We probably have 6,000 to 9,000 volunteers a year. They come and volunteer for Habitat just because the cause is so great for most people's part. Finding good labor for people who want to work in South Florida on the trades we want to do is a little difficult today, especially in the construction trades. I'm currently looking for a land acquisition development person who understands the process of taking a piece of raw land through the public improvement process, getting all the entitlements, getting the building permits, and getting it ready for construction is one of my greatest needs today.
Okay,
In addition, we're trying to grow our restore. We have one on Broward Boulevard. And in the next couple of years, we would like to create another one for finding a general manager who understands retail, the home building business, and the secondary market like a thrift store is what we're really looking for.
Okay, so if there's anybody who's listening who is interested in some of these kinds of positions, if they want to volunteer, if they've got construction skills, why don't you give us the contact information for that, and then we'll talk a little bit about your golf tournament.
Sure. You can contact us at 945-396-3030, extension 210 with Elliot Emhoff, our volunteer manager, who could arrange if you want to volunteer. If you want to make a donation, the same number, extension 211, which is Kenny Brighton, our development director or fundraising director, or myself at extension 201. Or you can go to habitatbroward.org and click on volunteer, donate, or get involved on our website.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about this golf tournament. So this is actually put on by the Young Lawyers, I believe, from Broward, and the Association of Young Lawyers section from the Broward County Bar. And why don't you let everybody know a little bit about what it is, where it is, and how they can sign up if they would like to play or be a sponsor?
Sure. That golf tournament is October the 3rd. The location, don't have it on top of my head. It is, if you went to Habitat.
I got it in front of me. I can help. It's at the Jacaranda Golf Club in Plantation.
You got it.
Beautiful place.
You know
I've
more
played
about
there.
it than I do. Sometimes sometimes they keep me on the building side, or they keep me out talking to people. I don't get to have fun a lot. I'm always in rubber chicken dinners or in meetings trying to raise money or awareness. Actually, I will be at this golf tournament, and it's the first time this year I actually get to play. I'm not that good, so if you're playing with